What's up guys, Ame here with another video. With how reputations work in Wrath of the Lich King, there are 5 factions that you can get reputation with by equipping or unequipping their respective tabard and running level 80 dungeons. Since you can only wear one tabard at a time, which faction should you prioritize first? That's the question we'll answer today. Let's get into it. First things first guys, if you want to see a way more in-depth look at all the factions in Wrath and what rewards you can get from them, make sure to check out my full reputation guide that I'll link in the description. To go over quickly how the main reputations work in Wrath, there are 4 main factions: the Wizards Cool Club in Dalaran, the Kirin Tor, the Multicolored Dragons of the Wyrmrest Accord, the Holier Than Thou Warriors of the Argent Crusade, and the Gothed Out Death Knights of the Knights of the Ebon Blade. At friendly with every one of these factions, you can purchase their respective tabard, which when equipped in level 80 normal dungeons or heroics, will give you reputation with that faction. There are 3 main reasons to why you'll want to farm these reputations. 1, they offer Bis Helm enchants at Revered. 2, there are some great profession designs and patterns that you can pick up. And 3, they offer great pre-Bis gear options. So which faction should you farm first? Before we look at the factions that can be farmed using tabards, I want to point out that you should start your Sons of Hodir farm ASAP. The Sons of Hodir offer best in slot shoulder enchants at Exalted, and you cannot buy a tabard and farm rep in dungeons with this faction. It is only unlockable after a 25 plus quest long quest chain, and then you can earn rep by doing dailies, turning in Relics of Ulduar, turning in Everfrost chips, or using Sons of Hodir commendation badges that you can get from daily dungeon quests. Again, you can find more detail about the Sons of Hodir in my reputation guide, but just make sure you do the quest line to unlock this faction so you can start earning rep. Let's start with all of our casters and healers. The 2 main factions with the best rewards for them are going to be the Wyrmrest Accord and the Kirin Tor, with the Knights of the Ebon Blade offering some decent options as well. In the Cloak slot, there's 2 options: Shroud of Dedicated Research from the Kirin Tor, and the Dark Soldier Cape from the Knights of the Ebon Blade. These capes are pretty much the same thing, except the Shroud offers haste while the Dark Soldier Cape has a hit. The far and away pre-Bis here is the craftable Death Chill Cloak. While this cloak is really nice, it will be expensive, and since these 2 rep cloaks are available at Honored, it makes them a great and easy pickup. In the weapon slot, there's the Flameheart Spell Scalpel at Revered with the Kirin Tor. Another expensive craftable item that is better here is the Titan Steel Spellblade. Again, with how expensive this will be, I don't think it's worth it to craft, as you can pick up the Spell Scalpel from the Kirin Tor and then get an upgrade in raids later. Casters and healers will be farming Kirin Tor rep anyway for their best in slot helm enchant, the Arcanum of Burning Mysteries, so it's a win-win. You essentially get a free weapon that is honestly really good, and you get your helm enchants. If you're a class that can use maces, so Priest, Druids, Shamans, and Paladins, over at the Wyrmrest Accord, there's the Gavel of the Brewing Storm at Revered. This weapon is essentially the same as the Kirin Tor one, except it has haste instead of hit. Most casters will need the hit in phase 1, so you'll likely want to go with the Kirin Tor option, while healers will like the Wyrmrest option for that haste since they don't need the hit. Also at Revered with the Wyrmrest, you can get the Ancestral Sinew wrist wraps. These bracers are alright, they're nothing special, but have multiple replacement option in heroics, but they're there if you need them. And then the big thing at Exalted that makes the Wyrmrest Accord worth the farm are the Sandals of Crimson Fury. These boots are flat out fantastic and pre-Bis for every caster and healer and will only be replaced in raid. Definitely worth the farm until you get one of those upgrades. Up in the belt slot for casters that can use leather pieces, there's the Ghost Flicker waistband. Here's the thing with this belt and belts in general though. It's a great belt, but pre-Bis belts can be picked up by everyone for 40 emblems of heroism. Doing every heroic will get you enough emblems for this belt in 1 day, so while it's a good belt, it can and will be replaced very fast with a guaranteed belt. In the same boat of that belt is the Belt of Dark Mending at Exalted with the Knights of the Ebon Blade. Again, it's a decent belt, but with how easy the full pre-Bis belt is to get, not worth it to grind to Exalted just to get this. While not a reputation reward, Kirin Tor vendors offer expensive rings for purchase. These rings cost 8,500 gold. But if you get buddy with the Kirin Tor and get all the way to Exalted, they'll give you the nice friends and family discount and sell it to you for 6,800 gold. Still pretty expensive, but if you plan on getting this ring anyway, you already will be getting Revered for the helm enchant, so might as well go to Exalted for the 1,700 gold discount. While the rings are great for casters, they aren't as good for healers, but at Exalted you have the Robes of the Crackling Flame. While good, this cloak is in the same situation as belts, because for 80 emblems of heroism, you can pick up the 10-man version of your tier chest, so it makes grinding to Exalted a lot less worth it. Elemental and Resto Shamans have a couple male-only options from reputations that are worth mentioning. From Honored with the Argent Crusade is the Battle Mender's Helm. It's nothing special and has better options in Heroics, but since it only requires Honored, it can be picked up and used until you get something better. And then for Resto Shaman only are the Grips of Fierce Pronouncement at Exalted with the Wormrest Accord, and the Kilt of Dark Mercy at Exalted with the Knights of the Ebon Blade. For me personally, I want to go out of my way to farm up to Exalted with these, but if you get your other reps done and have nothing else to farm with your tabards, I'd throw it on and get these if you don't have anything better. So now that we've got the information, what order should the casters farm your reputations in? I personally would do the Kirin Tor first. I'd pick up the Cloak, the Weapon, and Helm enchant, and then get the Ring discount if I wanted it. Next, I would farm Wormrest to Exalted, pick up the Bracers if I needed them, and then get the Bis Boots at Exalted. Both of the rewards from the Argent Crusade and the Knights of the Ebon Blade can be obtained at Honored, so I'd get those last or get them organically through questing for rep and with some dungeon farming afterwards. Now the Argent Crusade really hasn't had an impact on casters and healers. That changes when you look at Holy Paladins. At Honored, there's the standard issue leg guards, not half bad. There's a lot better in heroic dungeons, but an easy pickup at Honored. And then at Exalted, there's two fantastic pieces. The Signet of Hopeful Light, a haste ring with tons of int, and then the Helm of Purified Thought, which is a Holy Paladin straight Prebis. Wormrest Accord also has some decent bracers with the Bracers of Accorded Courtesy at Honored. Same as always, good but not the best, but are great since it's only at Honored. So what's the rep priority for healers? For everyone but Paladins, I'd do Wormrest first for the weapon and boots, and then do Kirin Tor. For Paladins, I'd still do Wormrest first since having a nice weapon is very important, and you get the boots as well as the bracers here, and then I'd do Argent Crusade followed by the Kirin Tor for the Helm enchant and Cloak. I know I'm saying do the Helm enchant last, but you can use the Wormrest Helm enchant until then. It's not as good since it gives MP5 instead of crit, but it's close enough that it's not worth skipping the other ones to do Kirin Tor first. Moving on to physical DPS, let's look at what's worth going for and what order you should do them in. Starting in the shoulder slot, we have the Spalders of the Black Arrow from the Knights of the Ebon Blade, which are a good starter item for hunters. While talking about hunters, also great for them if you don't have anything else is the Zombie Sweeper Shotgun with the Argent Crusade at Revered. This can also be used by rogues and warriors as a stat stick, but there's better options in heroics or with your emblems. While not the best, in the cloak slot is the Cloak of Holy Extermination from the Argent Crusade at Honored. Since it's Honored, it's an easy grab to get for a fresh 80. Like the casters and healers, your chest slot is interesting. At Exalted with the Argent Crusade, you have the Polished Regimental Halberd, which is great for hunters. And then for everyone else, there's the Darkheart Chest Guard at Exalted with the Knights of the Ebon Blade. It's interesting because while they are really great chest pieces, they will be replaced fairly quickly by the guaranteed tier 7 chest you can get with 80 emblems of heroism. You'll be able to farm emblems very fast, so you can pick these chests up or just pass over them and wait to get your emblem one. In the bracer slot, we have the Dragon Friend bracers, obtained at Exalted with the Wormrest Accord. Some very solid bracers for all physical DPS, especially those that can only wear leather. In the leg slots, we have the Mind Expanding leggings. These come from the Kirin Tor and are some solid expertise legs that are especially great for feral tanks or any other leather wearer that like rogues. Also in the leg slot for plate wearers are the leg plates of Bloody Reprisal. Some solid legs with a couple better upgrades, but you can get them at Exalted with the Wormrest Accord. The big slot for physicals, like with the casters and healers, are the boots. At Exalted with the Argent Crusade are the Boots of the Never-Ending Path, and then at Exalted with the Knights of the Ebon Blade are the Death Inured Sabatons. Any plate wearer will love the Death Inured Sabatons from the Knights, and then everyone else will want to go for the boots from the Argent Crusade. Lastly, at Revered with the Knights of the Ebon Blade, we have the Runeblade of Demonstrable Power, Prebis for hunters and any two-handed weapon user, and the Reaper of Dark Souls, a solid one-handed sword for DKs. So in which order should you farm the reps? For rogues, hunters, shamans, and druids, I'd do Argent Crusade first. You get the Boots of the Never-Ending Path, the Zombie Sweeper Shotgun for rogues and hunters if you need it, the Cloak, and the Mailed Chest for shamans or hunters if you want the hit. After Argent Crusade, I'd go for the Knights of the Ebon Blade for hunters to get the sword, shoulders, and chest, and for rogues, ferals, and shamans, it's kind of a toss-up. For rogues and shamans, I'd go Wormrest for the bracers, followed by the Knights for the chest and the helm enchant. And for ferals, I'd do Wormrest or the Kirin Tor for the expertise pants at Revered. For the plate wearers, you DKs, warriors, and rep pallies, I'm going for the Knights first for the one-handed or two-handed sword, the chest, and of course the boots at Exalted. I'd follow that grind up with the Worm Rest to get the bracers and legs if you need them, and then finish it off with the Argent Crusade and the Kirin Tor. Last up, we've got what's left of the tank since I lumped Feral into the physical DPS, our Blood DKs, Prot Pallies, and Prot Warriors. In the Cloak slot, we have a great defense and hit cloak with the Cloak of Peaceful Resolutions, an easy pickup at Honored with the Worm Rest Accord. Again from the Worm Rest Accord, we have a solid chest piece with the Breastplate of the Solemn Council, which you can pick up at Revered, giving defense and expertise. The glove spot can be picked up from the Kirin Tor at Exalted, the Fire-proven Gauntlets, a solid avoidance piece with dodge and defense. The special issue leg plates are surprisingly great legs that have defense and hit, which is very useful early on. Pick these up from the Kirin Tor at Honored. And then lastly, the boots, we have the Sabatons of Draconic Vigor that you can pick up at Revered with the Worm Rest Accord. Defense and some more of that juicy hit. There's also the Toxin Tempered Sabatons from the Knights of the Ebon Blade, but I personally like the Sabatons a bit more from the Worm Rest Accord for the defense and hit. This one is pretty easy to see. Worm Rest first all the way for all you plate wearing tanks. You get 3 solid pieces, so it's pretty much a no-brainer. Next up, I'd go Argent Crusade to get the easy pants at Honored, as well as your head enchant at Revered. And then finish it off with the Kirin Tor for the gloves at Exalted. There's a lot of factors at play here for which faction you should farm first, but one thing everyone should do is hit that subscribe button on your way out if you enjoyed the video. It helps the channel out a lot and I greatly appreciate it. I'm also live on Twitch throughout the week if you want to drop by and say hi sometime. Your luck with heroic drops can always change which reputation to focus on, so just play it by ear, see which drops you get, and compare that to the upgrades shown in this guide and you'll be good to go. That's it for me today though guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.